lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing A Study in Scarlet Women by Sherry Thomas. This is a historical mystery that is based off the Sherlock Holmes stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and in this series we have a female version of Sherlock Holmes. So this is the Lady Sherlock series. This is book 1 that just came out, and it's not exactly what I was expecting, but it was still good. I gave it 4 stars. So part of it is the fact that it wasn't what I was expecting from Sherlock Holmes. So the main character, Charlotte, has been corresponding with Inspector Treadles in Scotland Yard, and he thinks that she is this man named Sherlock Holmes. And so he sends her the cases that he is stumped by and expects to get these answers back from this guy. And Charlotte is really good at reading between the lines and noticing things and possible explanation for what's going on that he's missing, and it's kind of the thing that cracks the case, and he's like, oh, okay. And so he's really impressed by the Sherlock Holmes character. However, is not expecting Charlotte, and neither was I. So in the original book, Sherlock Holmes is kind of this very aloof, emotionally detached guy, and Charlotte's not really like that. She gets incredibly emotional and passionate, especially about the people she cares for, like her sisters and her mother, and even her best friend Lord Ingram, who she's got a crush on, even though he's married. And it's just, it's cool to see this side of Sherlock Holmes, and it makes more sense that Sherlock would have emotional attachments and stuff, and it allows Charlotte to see sides of the story that maybe a traditional Sherlock Holmes wouldn't see, as she starts factoring in emotions, and revenge really might play this huge part in it. Charlotte's very good at studying people and society and how society works and how these different levels operate. She's also really good at seeing things that other people might have missed. She has the typical. I mean, she's Sherlock Holmes. She can look at you and see that by the dirt on your fingers, I see that you must have been writing this morning or something, and come up with if somebody's entire backstory just by looking at them. So totally the typical amazing parts. So I liked Charlotte as a character as seeing everything, but it also is kind of strange that it's Sherlock Holmes, but it's not Sherlock Holmes. There is also a lot of playing with women's roles in this book and how women are viewed in Victorian society and what options were open to them and at different social levels. The book starts off with Charlotte getting caught having an affair with a married man, and so she is this fallen woman and loses her standing and tries to go get a job, and finding out what jobs are open to a woman of respectable breeding who doesn't do manual labor and can't get a job in a school because she was caught having an affair. And as she tries to figure out how to survive and how to use her unique skills and her brain, because it's really amazing brain. Charlotte's also the ideal beauty for the Victorian era. She has these large doe eyes and this perfect blonde, I think they're blonde curls, but this perfectly styled hair that is kind of the ideal figure. She's got it down to what's the ideal number of chins? Seriously, it's 1.6 chins, I think. And if she eats more and she gets 1.7 chins, then her face is no longer perfectly proportioned or something like that. She takes this very seriously. Charlotte loves fashion too, which is totally not a side of Sherlock I would have expected. Yeah. So in this book, there is actually 3 murders that Charlotte's trying to solve, and she's convinced that they're all linked. And one of the murders is of the mother of the man she was having an affair with and the woman who caught her. And so Charlotte's sister, Olivia, was actually seen fighting with this woman and is one of the suspects. So Charlotte's trying to clear her sister's name, well, not revealing that Sherlock Holmes is actually the sister of the woman who's getting one of the suspects. So that's an interesting angle to this. And she's trying to see how all these people died using, like, it looks like they all committed suicide, but Charlotte's convinced that it's actually murder. Um, and it's kind of a unique, it's this whole series is just this tiny twist on what we know about Sherlock Holmes and accounting. I mean, part of it's accounting for, like, the fact that Charlotte's a woman, and some of it's just like a different take on Sherlock Holmes' character. Charlotte's family is a really unique part of this too. Like, she has, I think Charlotte's the youngest of four sisters. Um, one of them, I think one of them managed to marry properly, and they have Charlotte and her sister Livia, who don't really want to get married. They kind of want to be have like career women. Like, they want to be. Well, Livia just wants to be a proper woman without having to marry. And she hasn't really had as many options as Charlotte, where Charlotte has all these proposals and doesn't want any of them because she wants to use her mind and be an independent woman. Um, and then they have another sister who is. They have another sister who is mentally disabled, kind of quiet, reserved, although we don't really know what's wrong with her, possibly autistic, um, and how their mother, like, how they don't have any brothers. Um, Charlotte's mother did everything she was supposed to do as a proper woman, married the guy, had the children, and is kind of unhappy, but she's really worried about, like, her social standing. They have their father who's running off and having affairs. So, like, the best part of this book is probably Charlotte's relationship with Lord Ingram, who is the go-between between Inspector Treadles and Sherlock Holmes. And he's known Charlotte since they were kids. And they totally have this thing where they clearly kind of like each other, but can't act on it because he's married and he's too proper a gentleman to, like, have a mistress. So Charlotte's like, I don't want to marry anybody else, I want him. And we have Lord Ingram, who sees Charlotte for her brains and tries to give her opportunities and tries to help her and protect her, but at the same time, like, trying to do this within society's rules is kind of hard. There's also Inspector Treadles, who's kind of an interesting character, like a typical policeman, and it's cool to see that side of society within, like, the bigger realm of everything. But it's really his wife, I think it's Alice, who's more interesting because she was a lady who voluntarily gave it up to marry him for love, and now is trying to run a household and be, like, the poor, like, the middle class wife. A large part of this book is actively, like, questioning Victorian values in society, whether it's Charlotte doing it or if it's being pointed out in another character, and just how women are expected to act and what happens to them if they don't. Also, in these stories, we have Mrs. Watson, who becomes Charlotte's partner in this detective reasoning consulting thing they start up. And it's fun to see the two of them, like, interact with each other. Like, Charlotte is amazed that any woman would want to help her or would value her for her mind, and Mrs. Watson's definitely better at, like, the business end of things and, like, keeping the consulting firm running. And we see the two of them try to play off the fact that Sherlock Holmes can't see you, so his sister will be kind of intermediating and stuff. So it's fun to see how they work around, like, the fact that a woman wouldn't be credible, so they have to, like, fake Charlotte having this brother who can't talk to them. I don't know. It's fun book, but it also does do a lot of jumping around between different narrators and jumping around between flashbacks and the current day. So it definitely takes some concentration to, like, keep straight what's happening when and who's doing what, especially when you're trying to solve these three different murders. Yeah. On the whole, I really enjoyed this book. I love this. I loved it more for the look at, like, a Victorian society and Charlotte as a character than for the actual mystery part. Like, that kind of seemed to take a second role to like this bigger idea of setting up this world. Um, it was cool. I did not see the ending coming, which was awesome. I love not knowing. um, I think it was totally fun and worth reading. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Um, Mainly because I don't know. It was weird. It doesn't ever really feel like it's Sherlock Holmes in a way. Like I like Charlotte and her take on it, but it doesn't feel like the original books or like the movies and stuff we're used to. Um, so it's cool as an adaptation, but don't take it too seriously as being like this is Sherlock Holmes and this is what really happened. Like it's not. It's not that take at all. Um, does play with it. I am very interested at how the ending of this book happened. Like the ending of this book, there's definitely some setup for the rest of the series and characters from the original books making an appearance, and I am really interested to see how that operates and how that works, and where this series goes. So I'm definitely going to check out the rest of the series when it comes out. There's my review for A Study in Scarlet Women by Sherry Thomas. So check it out if you guys want to. And yeah, peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.